If you're like a lot of people I've met, you love the idea of using Jupyter, but you find it a huge hassle to install and then to run. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to JupyterLite, which allows you to use Jupyter with some caveats that I will point out to you inside of your browser without any installation whatsoever. So let's start off with what is Jupyter. And basically, Jupyter, in its very simplest form, allows you to run Python code via your browser with the, shall we say, the illusion that it's really running in your browser. Now, I say that it's an illusion because it feels so close. If I say x equals 100 and y equals 200, and I say print x plus y, it looks and feels like I just ran this inside of my web browser. But really what's going on is that the browser is acting as a client. And every time I execute some Python code, that code is sent back to the server, which could be on my own computer, in this case it is, or it could be on a server running somewhere else on the internet. It's executed there inside of that Python context, and then comes back, and we get the result here. So that works pretty well. What if I do something a little more complex, just a little more? Name equals input, enter your name, strip, and I say print, hello, name. Will this work? Yeah. It'll wait for me. I'll type my name, Reuven, and then it prints that. Again, the Python part is not running inside of my browser. Rather, the Python part is running on a server somewhere where I have the Jupyter server running. But that requires that you install Jupyter. It can be straightforward, but especially for newcomers, it can be kind of a pain. And then you run it as a server, and then every time you want to use it, you have to run it. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just like pop open a browser window and use Jupyter? Well, if I go to Jupyter.org, the homepage for the Jupyter project, you'll see here it says try it in your browser, meaning try Jupyter in your browser. And you can try either Jupyter Lab or just plain old Jupyter Notebook. So I'm going to click here, Jupyter Notebook. Actually, both of them take you to the same place. And then it gives you the options of Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, and here it says JupyterLite. And this is our focus in this video. And it says here that JupyterLite, WASM-powered Jupyter. What the heck is WASM? Well, I'll tell you in a moment. If I click on it, it brings me to a page that looks an awful lot like Jupyter Lab. And that's because, guess what? It is Jupyter Lab. But it's Jupyter Lab running without a server. How is that possible? Well, we know that inside of our browser, we can run programs, and those programs are written in JavaScript. So JavaScript has been welded to web browsers for decades now. You want to write something that runs in the browser, you write in JavaScript, end of story. Could you have written stuff in other languages? Yeah, but then you need a plugin, and not everyone has it, and on and on. However, a number of years ago, a bunch of leading organizations working with web technologies created WASM, WebAssembly. And just as any programming language that can compile to assembly can run on your computer, any programming language that can compile to WASM can run inside of your browser. You can think of your browser as a computer with its own assembly language. And so if you have a language such as Python that can have its code, the Python code, turned into WASM, it can run just as easily, just as well in parallel with JavaScript. And sure enough, we have Pyodide. Pyodide is a version of Python that runs inside of your browser using WASM technology. And if I click here on this, I get a Jupyter Notebook. And I say here, print hello. And look at that, it runs. And it's not going to a server. It's not going to an external location. It's 100% in my browser, running via Python, via Pyodide, via WASM. And if I say x equals 100 and y equals 200, then I say print of x plus y. Once again, it's running inside of my browser. And if I say, what's the type of x, I can do all those things. What if I get a little fancier and I say name equals input, enter your name, strip, I say print, hello, name. Oh, then I get an error. What's going on here? And what is this error? Pyodide future object has no attribute strip. And I type my name and it doesn't even work. And what is going on? This is where people in my intro classes get tripped up because they try to do input, and I use input in my intro classes, and they get this. So let's make it a little simpler. If I say name equals input, enter your name, and I run it. So it asks for my name. Great. what is the value of the variable name now? What is the type of name? And the answer is it's a Pyodide future. It's a future object. And future objects basically mean, here's a placeholder. When I have a result for you, I will fill in this placeholder with a result. And we can even get that same name.result. Call that method and we get back Reuven. Yeah, but that's very different from a string. It's not a string. So whereas we say in regular Python, input always returns a string, here it always returns a future. And that is basically a game changer and a deal breaker for a lot of intro Python users. So we can't really do that. Okay, what else can we do here? Well, I can say import pandas as PD because pandas and NumPy and matplotlib are included in Pyodide. And then I can say df equals PD read CSV. Well, wait a second. Where's my CSV? Aha, it can't talk to your regular computer's file system, but it can talk to anything you have here. So I'm going to click on this upload button and I'm going to choose here taxi.csv and I'm going to upload it into this virtual file system that's part of it. And once it's there, then I can say read CSV of taxi.csv. And look at this. Now I can say df.head, and I can say df of trip distance, dot mean. I can do all the things I would normally want to. And look, it even has NumPy types. Amazing. And I can even say df.plot.scatter of x equals trip distance and y equals total amount. Oh, it didn't like that. Why didn't it like it? Because I have to import matplotlib, of course. Import matplotlib. But because it's part of the Pyodide package, it'll load up. And now I can once again do df.plot.scatter. And look at that. I get it visualized inside of my system. Fantastic. What if I don't like doing this sort of plotting? What if I want to use Seaborn? So I'll just say import Seaborn as SNS. And it'll say, no, I don't have that. It's not part of the package. So can I just use pip? The answer is no, I cannot use pip. Instead, I have to do it a little bit of a sort of a weird way. I have to say import micropip, and then micropip.install of Seaborn. And what that does is it goes to PyPI, downloads it, installs it into this particular instance of Pyodide. If I reload the page, if I go to another tab, if I restart the kernel, it'll be gone. So if I do this, it'll be great. Actually, it won't be great because it gives me this weird kind of object, this coroutine back. Actually, what I have to do is say await that. It's an async IO thing. And after that, then I can say import Seaborn as SNS. Aha, and now it's loaded. And now I can say SNS.scatterplot of, let's say df, where x equals trip distance and y equals total amount. And voila, we have our Seaborn plot. So JupyterLite is amazing if you know where it works and where it doesn't, if you know what to watch out for, if you know that it's all inside of your browser, if you know that it can't go to external URLs or external files, but you've got to set them up here. If you're willing to live with all of those, it is fantastic. And you can even build your own custom kernels so that when Pyodide loads up, it will have all the packages that you need at your organization. So I hope this was a helpful, quick introduction to Pyodide and WASM, and of course JupyterLite. Let me know what you think. Any questions or comments, just put them here. Don't forget to, as they say, like and subscribe, and I'll be back real soon with lots more about Python and Pandas and Jupyter and everything in between. Thanks for watching.